All right, let's get physical. I feel like that sounded more like Darkwing Duck than the song I was going for. But anyways, welcome to the Human Betterment Project, everyone. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe and like on YouTube, and on the podcast apps, please subscribe and give me a 5-star if you enjoyed this. And if you enjoy this and you're looking forward to more of the Human Betterment Project content, today we're going to tackle one of the pillars of human betterment that I listed before, and that is physical health. We're going to talk fitness goals here, people. Now, for starters, at the Human Betterment Project, we're not going to define physical health as like your typical Adonis, like model physique, or being built like some Greek statue, but with ability and health. Though, in all honesty, if I could be ripped like Batman, I would totally be. So let's start with a few things when we talk about this. Why is it important for the Human Betterment Project? Why is fitness a pillar of human betterment? Well, besides just wanting to be in better shape, it comes down to the ability to enjoy life or succeed at physical tasks in life or in an emergency. For example, if you wanted to go on a hike with some friends and you haven't seen them in a long time, would you have the immediate ability to do so and enjoy that experience with friends? I, for one, would like to be able to enjoy that aspect of life. Or let's say that you're on that hike and there's a large mountainous hill and you have to pass it. Could you do that? That's what we're really talking about with health and fitness, is the ability to enjoy things and succeed at life. And as far as emergency goes, let's say that in this hypothetical hiking situation, your friend falls and breaks their leg. Would you be able to hike them out, or would you be able to run a dozen miles out of the woods for help? Do you have the necessary cardio health and strength for that? Like, you might be asking yourself, who needs to be able to do a pull-up or a muscle-up, you might ask. Well, those are just flashy moves. Well, again, let's use the hiking example, and you fall into a crevice or some canyon, and you caught yourself. Could you actually pull yourself up, or are you doomed to fall like that movie Cliffhanger? So here at the Human Betterment Project, physical health is functional health. Can I move and perform in a way that increases my enjoyment of life and preserve that life and the life of others if needed? Though, like I said before, if as a byproduct I become Batman, of course I'm going to want that. I mean, that's fine with me. On top of that, let's go over some statistics real quick. Per the CDC, the leading cause of death for all people in the United States is heart disease. It makes up 25% of deaths. Now, personally, I find this terrifying, and I think a lot about this. That's a lot. Now, of course, most of this is probably due to preventable health issues that we can eliminate or reduce if we have that fitness and we're really ready to dial in our heart health. So how am I going to define functional fitness in this case? So personally, I enjoy a mix of traditional weightlifting and CrossFit functional exercise. Now, CrossFit's technically a brand of functional fitness. And I'm going to borrow from their descriptions, which you can find on their website, of what functional fitness is, to describe what does fitness encompass. So they highlight 10 points of physical fitness, which I'm going to go over and kind of describe how they're going to fit here at the Human Betterment Project. So their first one is cardio endurance. Excuse me. So this is basically, how long can you do a physical activity before you start sucking air and feeling like death? Now, personally, this is an area of weakness for me, but it comes and goes. In the past, I have run everything from 5Ks to half marathons, but it's never been my thing, and by the end, I usually look like death. I look like I've been beat up, and a bear chased me the entire way. It's sad, but I finished it. Number two, stamina. Well, technically, this refers to your body's ability to utilize energy in the form of glucose and blah, blah, blah. It gets very sciencey. It's basically how well you can maintain a workload over a period of time using the caloric energy you have. So basically, can you maintain a running pace of 9 miles per hour for a certain amount of time? So recently, I read a book about these things. and running in particular, called Born to Run. It's here. A hidden tribe, super athletes, and the greatest race the world has never seen. So this is a fascinating story about the Tarahumara Native Mexican tribe. I hope I pronounced that right. And they're in the Mexican Copper Canyons, and how they see it as running and cardio and this the pursuit of health through running. It's part of their culture, and they do ultra marathons of over 100 miles. And the author goes on to discuss the theory that humans are evolutionarily developed to run long distances to chase down potential prey. It's an interesting book. It's got a compelling narrative, and I really recommend it. Sometimes when he's talking about, people being evolutionarily designed to run, I'm like, maybe I'm not one of those people, because, like I said, running has never been my strength. And, like I was saying, running is never been one of my particular strengths. And it's like, did I get left off of that evolutionary track or something? No, it's just, I just don't do it enough. And that's something that personally for the Human Betterment Project, I'm going to be and have been attempting to do more of. 3, strength. This is pretty obvious. How much can you lift? Just a raw strength number. Big gains, lightweight. 4, flexibility. What is your movement like? Do you have full range of motion in your joints? Personally speaking, I have consistently tight shoulders. That's kind of lacking where I'm lacking at. And my range of motion could be better in that particular area. This is really an often overlooked part of fitness because it's not flashy or exciting, but better flexibility means less injury and pain in life. And it's really not about being able to do the crazy splits or anything. That'd be cool. But it actually has to do more with, do you have the flexibility to engage in full range of motion through simple things like squats, push-ups, running. They're not very flashy, but they're important to have these full ranges of motion for, full engagement of those muscles and strength building, and just so you don't injure yourself and you're doing it properly, because otherwise you're going to compensate in different ways and you might get hurt. Power. This is where it gets a little mathy. This is just force over time, but basically this is, can you move large weight fast? Not dangerously fast, that's not the point here, but it's just the amount of weight over a period of time. And of course, the faster that speed, the higher the power output. It's just math. A good example of this is an Olympic lifting event like the snatch. That's where the weight goes from the ground to overhead in one flawless motion. It's very fast, it's very technical, and those weights get really large. But it's simple as that. The amount of weight you can lift over a short amount of time. Power. 6, speed. Pretty obvious. How fast can you move? Whether it's running, that weightlifting, as we talked about earlier in power, it's just a raw count of how fast can you do something. Here's where it gets a little more interesting on what do you mean by fitness. Coordination. Normally this doesn't come up. Most of the time when people are talking about fitness, it's how much can I bench? How much can I run? Like, how fast am I? Or do I have a six-pack? Who cares? Coordination. This is a really subtle one. Do you have the coordination to move in complex ways? Again, this is going to go, I'm going to bring up the Olympic lifts again. That's called the snatch and the clean and jerk. They're highly complex movements that you need to execute in a particular way. They require excellent body awareness and coordination to perform so you don't hurt yourself and so that you get the maximum lift. So coordination, it's a part of physical fitness, and it's often forgotten for the flashier, bigger things. Agility. How well can you move from one physical movement to another? So this is where I'm going to give an example of a fancy movement, the muscle up. You probably see people do that in the Olympics and CrossFit games. Basically, you're going from like a pull up, you go all the way up to a dip, and then you push yourself up, basically. But it's a good example of agility because you have to have good agility to move from that pull up position to a dipping position in one flawless motion. 9, balance. Pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of think of a slack line or, just like one of those Buso balls. how well are you at balancing your power through an unbalanced system, basically. A lot of people, terrible balance. Here's the 10th one and final one. And this is, again, it gets to be a little interesting here, but accuracy. Normally people don't think about accuracy as part of fitness, but when you're doing these complex movements or movement in general, are you able to control where you're putting that power? So accuracy. So an example of this, think about something like a track sport like shot put, or I probably said that wrong, shot put or discus or something like that. They are aiming for a particular like area. It's not really like a small like archery target or anything like that, but there is a general area that they're aiming for, and they have to have the accuracy to put it there. So with those 10 things in mind, and kind of what we've talked about, what the Human Betterment Project is talking about when it comes to the pillar of fitness for this channel, what should our goals be? I know I kind of joked about becoming Batman earlier, but I kind of want to use Batman as an example to address unrealistic goals here. So I did a little bit of research on this because I'm a giant nerd, and here are some of the stats about Batman, and we're going to talk about some realism here. So Batman is 6'2". Okay, cool. Me too. The official weight of Batman is 210 pounds. Okay, cool. That sounds like a good weight to be. Interesting note, though, here about realistic expectations and how to measure yourself. If I was just to use the standard BMI calculations that, say, the medical industry use or insurance adjusters, this would make Batman, freaking Batman, 26 pounds overweight for his height. So just keep that in mind, that things like BMI are for population statistics. They're not for individuals, and don't get too hung up on this number. I mean, it's good to be in a healthy number for you, but fitness is about ability. And as you progress and you become fitter, your numbers might not match what the BMI says. I mean, they just call Batman overweight. I actually have an interesting side story here. Somebody that I used to work out with, a workout friend of mine at the gym, was a female competitive CrossFitter, very fit, and she told me that she went to the doctor one time. Doctor didn't even look at her, really, just kind of looked at her weight and said, you need to lose like 12 pounds, right? You're overweight. But she had like a six-pack and everything. Like I said, competitive weightlifter, CrossFitter kind of thing. And she just kind of looked at him like, from where? Where am I supposed to, where am I supposed to do that from? You know? So just keep that in mind, that those things like BMI are suggestions based on population statistics. And they may not be quite what you're looking for when you're comparing how healthy you are. That should be more things like, you know, your resting heart rate, your recovery, and your ability to do things. Like we said, we're defining fitness here as ability. So statistically, it says that Batman can bench 1,000 pounds. Now, wait a minute here. 1,000 pounds. No. Someone at DC Comics just doesn't know what they're talking about here. The world record that I could find was 885 pounds for a single lift by Blaine Summer in March 2016. But Blaine weighs 368 pounds, not 210. So keep that in mind. The world record for Batman's size that I could find was 550. That's still crazy high, and it's for a single lift. But it's also, keep in mind, that's a specialist. That's somebody who is probably competing in just bench, squat, and deadlift, like the powerlifting moves. So it's not typical of overall fitness. It's a highly focused specialty. So that's an unrealistic expectation to expect of somebody. So let's take a look at the Batman movies. I don't know if you guys watch Batman versus Superman. But do you guys remember that scene where Batman is training to fight Superman? And at one point, they show Batfleck doing pull-ups with, if I watch the video correctly, it's like 180 pounds plus his body weight, like for reps, not just a single one, but for reps. I looked it up. The world record is 230 pounds for a single. So he's basically approaching world record for single, and he's repping it out. I mean, of course, he's Batman. They want to make it fantastic, but don't use those images that you see as realistic for your fitness. And then there's a part where he's squatting, and I think if I counted it correctly, it's like 8 plates per side and some chains. I'm gonna ignore the chains because those are a weird calculation, but assuming 45-pound plates, and there's 8 on each side, I think I figured out that it would be about 765 pounds. I mean, that one, it's probably possible. The world record for his body weight, the 210 pounds, is like 876. So maybe for one. But I don't know if he'd be repping them out with chains. So I mean, maybe it's possible, but remember, this is fantasy stuff. I mean, and a lot of times we're watching these fictional heroes and specialized strong people, and I mean, it's inspiring to watch, but you also have to remember the realistic side of it. It's like, are you really going to be able to do what this fantasy character is doing, or somebody who's highly specialized and just does this for a living, So when you're thinking of your goals, and we're thinking about goals here at the Human Betterment Project, then let's think about that, So what should be a realistic goal for the Human Betterment Project? What should we be shooting for? Well, so using the 10 points I mentioned earlier for CrossFit, I'm gonna talk about a guide that I found that's got it broken into 3 levels of fitness, and I believe that like level 1 is just kind of like, are you generally fit? Are you can you move in a particular way? And then like it gets all the way up to like level 3, which is like, are you a competitive athlete? And credit to Tacoma Strength for developing these forms. I don't remember how I found them, but I have the links still, so I will put those in the episode description so you can look at them yourself. So we'll just talk about, I mean, this is a little complex, so I'm just going to talk about it here. I have a graphic that, but it's complicated. So I'm just going to try my best to explain this. So level 1, fitness. We're going to go with these ones. So 10 push-ups. That's fine. 50 squats. These aren't weighted squats. These are just 50 air squats. A 400-meter run, sprint, in 2 minutes. So 400 meters is about a quarter of a mile. This one, for me, is difficult. I could probably do it once, but like I said, I'm not a very good runner, and I would not be able to hold that speed for very long. Handstand, 60 seconds against the wall. So basically, you're going to kick your feet up against the wall, and you'll hold that handstand for 60 seconds. This is L-sits. That's an ab strength move. You might see, you see a extreme variation of it in the Olympics, where they're like, I think it's called a mana, and their legs are way up, and it's crazy. But basically, this is, can you keep your heels above your hands when they're on the floor in the L-sit for 5 seconds? Can you do 50 sit-ups? Can you run a mile in 8 minutes? Can you do two strict pull-ups? Can you jump to a 24-inch box jump? So it's that's measuring your power, your jumping power. Can you do 1 rope climb? Can you do 2 handstand push-ups with like a 2-inch ab mat underneath your head, strict? So people, again, this comes to the whole flashy thing. Like, why would I need to have that? And it's just a way to show what your power is pushing upward. Like, can you push your body weight away from something above your head? Can you row 50 meters in 1 minute and 55 seconds? For women, it says 220. Can you snatch half your body weight? Can you squat 3/4 of your body weight? Can you do 30 kettlebell swings at 24 kilograms? Can you deadlift your body weight? Can you overhead squat half your body weight? That's extremely difficult. A lot of coordination, a lot of balance. Can you bench press your body weight? And for women, it's 3/4 of your body weight. Can you clean and jerk 3/4 of your body weight? That's an Olympic move. It's very complex. Takes a lot of coordination and power. Can you row 2 kilometers in 8 minutes? 9 minutes and 40 seconds for women. Can you overhead press half your body weight for men and 1/3 your body weight for women? And can you power clean 3/4 of your body weight? That's the level 1 standards. And I'm not going to go through the level 2 and level 3 standards because they get very difficult and very complex. But I think for starting here, let's just stick with the level 1 standards. And those should be our goals for basic fitness. And I might do another a video or podcast later talking about the level 2 and the level 3 as we progress this pillar of physical fitness. So how are we going to achieve these? So I highly suggest a plan from a coach online or in person, especially if you're new to fitness or you just don't feel comfortable with some of the fine particulars of lifting or running, and you just feel confused by all of it because it can get very confusing. If you want to find a coach online, I would highly suggest you find a fitness plan built for your level at a website called Renaissance Periodization. They're a great company. They have workout templates that are designed for where you're at and what your goals are, and they'll come up with a plan for you on 3-day a week, 4-day a week, 5-day, whatever. They have a bunch of different options that'll fit your schedule. And what's great about them is that they're backed by science. Almost all the coaches there are PhDs in exercise physiology or exercise science, diet, and they have a host of different products that you can get. But like I said, they also have a diet application that adjusts based on your goals and your progress and stuff. And as you go through the forms, you'll rate your how difficult that particular day was for each of the exercises, and then they will adjust it accordingly. That way you're never doing more than you can handle to actually make progress, but you're making sure that you get enough work in that you're getting a benefit from it. I use them, so I highly recommend them. And I think that doing this will help you to achieve those basic strength goals and beyond, because they do have advanced plans as well. But if you're interested in what we were talking about before with the more complex movements, like the snatch and the clean and jerk, I would just highly recommend that you attend a functional fitness class, like a CrossFit class or something. I mean, there's other places that are functional fitness that don't use the brand name of CrossFit, but I highly suggest you get individual coaching for those because they are complex movements that require coordination and accuracy, and you don't want to do too much too soon because you could hurt yourself because they are complex. So personally, on this journey through the Human Betterment Project, I will be, and I have been for the last 5 weeks, been using a 6-day a week physique plan from Renaissance Periodization. The entire program is about 21 weeks, I believe, and I finished 5 so far, so there's still 16 remaining, so I'm going to be doing this for a while. But after that, I'm probably going to reassess it and do a blended program of kind of traditional weightlifting and Olympic weightlifting training, because I think that a combination or a program that combines those two together is probably going to help me hit my goals that, the level 1 and level 2, level 3 goals that we talked about earlier, because those do include those complex movements like snatching, clean and jerk, things like that. So, like I said, I am not very good at running. So on top of that, I am going to add more focus to running. I've been using the Couch to 5K app. I'm sure some people are familiar with this, but it's like a 9-week plan, 3 days a week, that will help you go from not running at all to a full 5K race, which is like 3.1 miles, 5 kilometers. I'm currently in week 4 of 9 on this plan, so I'm almost halfway through. And I've actually noticed significant improvements in my cardiovascular health already, which is awesome. I'll probably keep doing this cardio past those 9 weeks to continue to get the better heart health, which is really important here at the Human Betterment Project. And because I'd like to be able to go longer and faster distances. Like I said, I have run half marathons in the past, and I'd like to try to do that again someday. So I think I'll just go past these 9 weeks of 5K training and try to increase the speed and then maybe the distance so that I could probably run a half marathon hopefully later this year, assuming things open up and COVID's gone. So where I live, it rains a lot, like a lot. And I'd love to try one of those curved treadmills like the Assault Runner by Assault Fitness. I've actually heard that they're a little more difficult than street running, which is kind of crazy, but they do help enforce proper running. And then I can hide indoors when the weather's bad, but still get in that cardio. So hopefully someday. If you want some more information on proper running technique, which I've been trying to work on, but it's really difficult. I don't really have a coach, so it's more me trying to be aware of how I'm moving. But there is a book called The Pose Method, Pose. I cannot remember the author's name right now, but it is a book that details how we are running wrong. Mostly, we shouldn't be heel striking, and there's a technique where it's like a quick turnover, you're landing on the ball of your foot, and it's just really, really fast. So if you can find that book, I'll try to find the full title and put it in the comments. But I would recommend reading that because they go into detail about why that's an important thing, and you're not, that way you don't just destroy your legs by landing heel first, which can mess you up. As far as tracking my fitness, and I talked about the cardiovascular benefits already of just 4 weeks of working out. So I wear this device called a Whoop, WHOOP. It's a fitness tracker similar to a Fitbit that gives you metrics on your workout strain, your recovery. It uses heart rate variability and heart rate. It doesn't have the steps or anything like that. So it's completely waterproof. But it's only there, it's not there to make sure you get in 10,000 steps or anything like that, but it is there to mark how much strain you're getting during a workout and how well you're recovering. And it's interesting because sometimes you might be working out and you think you're going really hard and you think you're really pushing that envelope, and then this Whoop will give you a reality check and go, no, you weren't, from a cardiovascular standpoint, you were not trying that hard, or you weren't really going as hard as you think you were, or you might think you're getting, a proper amount of sleep and recovery because it tracks your sleep as well. It's like, no, you're not even, for how much you're working, you're not even close to meeting your sleep goals. That's another, I'll probably have a podcast about this later. I'm reading a book about why sleep is important right now. But sleep is a big missing part of my overall health. And I think a lot of people's overall health. And I might go into more detail about that for the Human Betterment Project, because I think that might be an important, aspect to cover eventually. But in those 4 weeks of doing just dedicated cardio, 3 times a week, just only 3 times a week. I was only like a 30-minute run, and only 3 times a week. So it's not a ton. And I'm not trying to kill myself out there. I'm trying to just keep a nice pace, a nice little jog. And in those 4 weeks alone, I've dropped my average heart rate probably about 8 points, down to low 50s, which I'm really excited about because That seems like a really good reading to me. And overall, it's been helping as my heart gets healthier, as that average heart rate drops. I've noticed my recovery is easier and more substantial. And consistent throughout the week. So it's like when I do a tough weightlifting workout, now that my heart is healthier and stuff, I bounce back a lot faster when I get good sleep that night and stuff, because my heart's like, oh, this wasn't that big of a deal. So if you want to get better metrics on your recovery and how hard you're really working, not how hard you think you are, I would recommend the Whoop. That WHOOP. I'm not a sponsor. They're not sponsors or anything like that. I just personally use it. And you can go to their website and check it out. So like I said, my goal here, at the Human Betterment Project is I just want people to be healthier. I want you to be at a fitness level that allows you to live the life you want to live. So for me, I'm not going to lie, I would like to be at those level 3 standards. We didn't go over them, but you can look at the link. We went through the level 1s, but you can go to the link and look at level 3 and see what those standards are. I'm nowhere near those level 3 standards. I mean, it's got like 40 strict pull-ups or something like that. I'm not even close to that. But in a dream world, that's where I would be. Like, so I could live my best life. I could do all the activities that I want to do without having to worry about that physical fitness or that cardiovascular fitness. So for me, that's what I want. But for you, maybe that's not for you. Maybe you want to live your best life. You only need the level 1 standards. That's fine. Let's do that together. Let's as watchers and as the hosts and stuff, let's just try to do something active 6 days a week, whether that's lifting weights, jogging, walking, yoga, yard work. Oh my gosh, yard work. If you want to know how much yard work does, like on the Whoop here, like when it marks as a workout when I'm out there like mowing the lawn for like an hour or two. I mean, sometimes it has a better like strain than doing a 5K run, like almost all the time. So it's like that could be your workout if you just love to be out there doing gardening for some reason, like yard work. But whatever works for you to help you achieve your goals, that'll help you live your best and most fulfilling life. That's what we want to shoot for here. So personally, I'd love to be like in crazy good shape. And I think that as someone who had insanely bad asthma as a kid, like really bad, it was hard for me to participate in some physical activities. I tried playing basketball as a kid and baseball, but I remember a lot of times being like, hey coach, I need you to pull me out because I'm about to have an attack, but now as an adult, without any of that danger, like, I can be physical without the asthma danger because I grew out of it. And I'd like to make up for some lost time. So for me personally, I just want to be as physically fit as I possibly can and as physically capable. I want to be able to enjoy life, help in an emergency if it's there, be able to, perform at an instant, basically, like with physical fitness if it was required of me. So ideally, I would someday want to hit those level 3 stats. I don't know if I ever will, but those are my ultimate goals. I think my first ultimate goals are to consistently hit those level 1 goals, because there's a couple on there, especially the cardio parts, that I'm not going to pass. I'm not going to get an 8-minute mile. I can probably do a 9-minute mile, and I'll be comatose for the next couple hours. So things like that, I want to be able to consistently do the level 1s, and then we'll move, then work on the level 2s and onward. So, yeah, I just want to be as capable as I can physically. And that's just one pillar of the Human Betterment Project that we want to tackle here. So for you, I just want you to get as physically healthy as you can and as you're capable of, that will let you enjoy the life you want to enjoy. If you're older, maybe you just want to pick up the grandkids, maybe you want to be able to go on that hike I was talking about earlier with friends, or, go on a go ruck. If you're not familiar with that, it's like a weighted backpack, like team building exercise that people are into. So yeah, I want everyone to be as successful as possible, and I just want you guys to join me on this journey of physical betterment. And let's just get started on the first pillar of the Human Betterment Project. And with better physical fitness comes better mental fitness and emotional fitness, and all these things kind of channel into each other, and we're just gonna try to make each other better. And I hope you join me on this journey. So I think next time we'll talk about another pillar of the Human Betterment Project and how we're gonna get there. So thanks everybody. Bye.